Hey Rangers fans, have you joined the Rangers Network? If not, now's the time. It's easy and free to subscribe. Get your phones out. Text the word Rangers to 42828 to stay in touch with all the latest Rangers news. Want that again? Text the word Rangers to 42828. Go Rangers!
Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman. Alongside me, Smithson Valley head coach Theory Hill. The Rangers were off this past week, as was the entire 27-6A district. We're going to look back at the bye week for the Rangers, look ahead to the opponent coming up this Friday. It's homecoming week as the Rangers host the Wagner Thunderbirds as well. So, Coach, let's go back to the week last week. You were off on Friday in terms of playing a game, but not off the entire week. I know you still worked with your football team. So what exactly do you do during the bye week?
Well, a little bit of both things, and what I mean by that is, bye week you're trying to give them a little time off, just to rest, recoup, heal a little bit, rest up for the stretch run, and then you couple that with the need to maintain your edge, to improve your level of play, and we obviously had time. When we were on, and when we were off, we were off. But 2 full weekends off, a lot of weights and conditioning, and then going at each other a lot to try to keep the speed of the game edge, so it's a little unnerving, really. You kind of fall into a routine and suddenly you're out of it and you don't really know what to do. But we felt good about it, thought our kids handled it well, and here we go.
We know that in years past, when you have a bye week on Friday, you'll take the opportunity to go scout, one of your upcoming opponents, but everybody was off. As there's an even amount of teams in the district, everybody gets the same bye week. So what does Coach Hill and his staff do on a Friday night now?
I was telling somebody earlier, I went and got a tattoo and an earring, had a little extra time.
You hide it well.
Yeah, I had to take them off when I came back Monday. But, there were some teams that a couple of us went and looked at that if we are fortunate enough to get into the postseason, that we might run into. So we took that opportunity, but we shortened up the days a little bit for the coaches too, because we were a little bit ahead. And that's a little weird. You feel like, oh, geez, we can't be through yet, can we? But we're back in the flow now, and, Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Tuesday, and here we go.
So there's no game to evaluate from this past week, but let's evaluate your football team. You've now hit the halfway point of your season. Yeah. You've played 4 games so far. I want to start by looking at the offense. I've talked to you a lot about quarterback play with Josh Atkins. We've mentioned your receivers and your tailbacks. Let's talk about the offensive line. 4 games now into this season. How do you think they performed?
I think they're improving every week, like you hope your whole football team is. But, we took some guys in the out of season and made some guys into O-linemen that have come from other areas. We took some tight ends and made them into tackles, and, some guards and flipped to the other side guards, and former guards moved to tackle, just in an effort to put our best foot forward. And like most units, that's a work in progress. I really think the last 2 or 3 weeks they've made market improvement. I think you really saw that in the East Central game. We made it a priority to improve our running game, and we ran for 300 plus yards. And that's just going to make us that much better the more balanced we can be. Now that's easy to say, hard to do, and you have to credit the O-line for getting us there.
Now, looking at the play of your defense so far, you're giving up less than 13 points per game, coming off a dominant effort defensively against East Central a couple of weeks ago. In even some of the games you've given up a few points, I've noticed that a lot of that's come on maybe the short fields, particularly the Round Rock game. So defensively, what have you seen from your football team through 4 games?
Well, I think the biggest area of improvement, and the area we had made a priority, was stopping the run. We mentioned running the football on offense. I think stopping the run was a big priority for us. And while, like any phase of the game, that hadn't been perfect, particularly the last two weeks, when you can stop the run, you kind of make them one-dimensional. They've got to. That doesn't mean you can stop the pass, but if they can't do what they're comfortable doing, then maybe you've got an advantage. 27-6A is a black and blue league, and by that I mean most people are trying to hurt your feelings. They're trying to run the ball right at you, and if you're going to have a chance to be there at the end, you've got to stop the run. And I think that's something that we've made a lot of improvement in that area.
When it comes to defending the pass, you have a really talented corner in Trevon Merrick-Woodard, so people aren't really throwing his way. That puts a lot of pressure on Mason Pierce, but lo and behold, he's held his own, had an interception the last time out against East Central. How do you feel like Mason's played?
Well, I think he's, as you said, gets a lot of opportunities. Not that they feel like they can exploit him, but maybe they're going to stay away from the other side of the field, like you said. And he's a talented athlete, very versatile athlete, and he's playing very, very well. And so hopefully they're not finding the ground too fertile over there either. And again, if those two corners played well, that allows you to commit your safeties a little more to run support. Allows your front to tee off a little bit and pressure the passer because maybe they can't throw on time. So, it has a ripple effect. It helps your whole defense if your cornerbacks are playing well. Special
teams always a high priority for you over the years. You look at the first 4 games so far, you have 3 return touchdowns, 2 on punts, 1 on a kickoff return. You blocked a handful of kicks this year, PATs and field goals. And you made a field goal against Steele in the first district game, a 40-yarder. As you look at the play of special teams so far, 4 games in, what have you seen?
Well, I think it's gotten better each week. I know the first week we had the 2 big returns, but then there were some areas we felt like we weren't very good at. Most notably, kickoff coverage needed to improve. Our kicking in general, I think both of our sophomore kickers have elevated their play the last 2 or 3 weeks. You mentioned the long field goal, but more than that, I think their placement on kickoffs has been good. Deeper kicks, higher kicks, more accurate kicks, kind of restrict running lanes for their cover guys, and then our coverage has improved. We blocked 3 field goal PATs, as you mentioned. We had a couple of punt returns. We'd like to pressure punts a little bit better. We're never satisfied. But that has been a strength. We hope it will be a strength going forward. It needs to be if we're going to get where we want to go.
Well, again, there was no game for the Rangers this past Friday, so we have no plays of the week for you. So instead, we caught up with a former Ranger, George Schwanenberg, in a Where Are They Now segment. We're joined by George Schwanenberg, player of the defensive line for the Rangers, now linebacker here from Incarnate Word. George, thanks for joining us. What have you been up to since the playing days in Smithson Valley came to an end?
Well, right out of high school, I went to UTSA my first semester and played 1 semester there and decided that it wasn't for me. And so I transferred over here to Incarnate Word and have been here for 2.5 years since.
So, George, playing college football here at Incarnate Word, just how much different is it compared to your high school football days in Smithson Valley?
Being in Smithson Valley's program definitely teaches you what hard work and dedication is, and it shows through when you go to college. You can tell the guys that were in programs that the coaches instilled those type of things in them, and then you can kind of tell the guys that weren't, they need a little more direction and structure as opposed to the guys that already kind of learned it in high school, I guess.
George, you're a part of a lot of success at Smithson Valley. Your teams went 31-5 your 3 years as a Ranger, so a lot of wins, a lot of victories, a lot of moments. Was there any big moment for you that stood out?
The play that sticks out the most to me that I remember was when we played Canyon and I chased down the quarterback in the middle of the field. That would have been kind of my most fond memory play. The games would have to just be the playoff games. Obviously, my first one up at Texas State against Cedar Park was pretty phenomenal, and then just the whole senior season and those 2 playoff games, beating Reagan down in the Alamo Dome and then Brandeis at Blossom.
So not only are you playing college football here in Incarnate Word, you're working on a degree, 2-time Southland Conference academic honor roll. So looking at the academic side of things, what is it you're looking to do in terms of a degree, and what do you want to do after football?
My major is rehabilitative sciences, and so I'll use that degree and go on to physical therapy school and hopefully one day be a physical therapist.
So George, you had a lot of success in Smithson Valley. You're enjoying success now in Incarnate Word. If you were to give advice to any outgoing senior in high school playing football, they want to be where you are now, playing Division I football, what advice would you give to them to attain those same kind of goals?
I'd tell them just to keep their head down and keep pushing. College is a whole different animal, and everybody was the best guy on their team in high school, and so when you get to college, you're going to be competing against the guys that were the best in high school. So there's a lot of ups and downs that come with college football, but just find a place that fits you and just work your hardest, and that's all you can do.
Thanks, George. Appreciate your time. And that again, a Where Are They Now segment, catching up with George Schwanenberg, a former Smithson Valley defensive player now with the University of the Incarnate Word. And Coach, I seem to remember, George, you look at him, undersized guy playing on the defensive line. He did not play like his size would dictate.
Well, George was so versatile. He could play linebacker and did. Played down, as you mentioned, and did. Great special teams player. Just kind of the epitome of our program, what it tries to be. Players who are unselfish, do what it was required of a team, and he was a big reason for our success all 3 years he was with us, and we're proud that he's got a chance to move on and play at the next level.
Well, we're coming up at a break here at Inside Rangers Football. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Emily Wick in this week's Senior Moments, and we have your weekly Little Men segment as well. We are back in just a moment.
Carpooling with Coach. You're up early to coach those Rangers, and we're up early to make great smiles. What a great idea.
I agree. You guys do the driving. Gives me a little time to watch some game film.
You mind if we play a little bit of music this morning? Hey, Coach, that was so much fun. What time should we be here to pick you up?
About the time the Rangers wore red.
Hey, Rangers fans! Have you joined the Rangers Network? If not, now's the time. It's easy and free to subscribe. Get your phones out. Text the word Rangers to 42828 to stay in touch with all the latest Rangers news. Want that again? Text the word Rangers to 42828. Go Rangers!
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. We have your Wagner preview coming up, but right now we're going to kick things over to Emily Wick, who has this week's Senior Moments.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. So I'm here with John, KJ, and Harrison. Boys, I don't know if you know this, but I'm real big into making sure that your moms feel appreciated. So before we get started, if you get your phones out, text your mama, tell her hi, and let her know you love her. John, do you think it's possible to cry underwater?
Yes, because SpongeBob cries underwater.
What makes SpongeBob cry?
Not having a spatula.
Not having spatula. Who's spatula?
The spatula is burger, like spatula.
Oh, okay. SpongeBob likes burgers?
He works.
Yeah,
at a
works the
burger
Krusty
place.
Krab.
I've never
Krabby
seen
Patties.
SpongeBob,
You have not lived yet.
so I need to watch SpongeBob
Really
to catch
is
up.
SpongeBob.
KJ, what has been your favorite age that you've been so far?
5.
5. What was so great about 5?
I don't know. You just you could do whatever you wanted. Your mom wouldn't get too mad at you. You wouldn't get in trouble for anything. But they look at you and you're like, oh, you're so cute. But you still just knocked over the cookie jar or whatever.
Yeah, 5 is good.
Yeah.
So Harrison, if you fail to succeed, which have you actually done?
You have succeeded not marking out that option.
You have succeeded to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
But
job.
you don't
Inception.
what's that Einstein quote? I have found 10,000 ways. I have not failed, but I have found 10,000 ways not to do something. Right?
Deep.
It's not even close.
I don't think I've heard that one.
It's not even close to the real quote.
Good try though.
Wait, what's the real quote then?
I don't know. Probably you got it.
I don't know.
It's close.
Leave it to Einstein.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave it to Einstein. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you gonna open the door for me?
It's a good one.
Okay, Rangers. I want to see how well y'all have already memorized each other's numbers. If y'all were to be one giant number, starting with John, what number would y'all be?
352,487.
That is no. That is too big of a number.
I don't know.
There's only
535.
Uh,
No. 500,000. No. 532,000.
Your number is 35.
I know.
Why are you
530.
starting with the 5?
Going this way.
3,
Okay,
5,
300
2, 4, 8, 7.
Wait,
320. What is this?
It ends with
350. What is this? 2. 352,000.
no.
400 and.
What did I say the
87.
first time?
Yeah.
What did I say the first time?
Good job, guys.
You added like way too many numbers.
Yeah.
352,487.
All right, guys, enough about the debate. Let's go back and look at the tape.
352,487. What did I say?
Good job.
Thank you.
That was way too many numbers. Sorry for doubting you.
Still wrong.
Sorry for doubting you.
So guys, one of my favorite things to do and get when I was little at birthday parties was a paddle ball. Do y'all know what those are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Think you're any good at them?
No.
No.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. I can get like one.
All right. Hey, you hit my ball.
It doesn't go
Hit your own
straight.
ball.
I'm dribbling. This is long.
Maybe we should stick to football. Thanks, guys. Coach Brant, back to you.
Go Rangers.
We're gonna do it again, a little more excited
All
this
right.
time, boys. You ready? Thanks, guys. Coach Brant, back to you.
Go Rangers.
Thanks, Emily. This is, by the way, your first generation Xbox here right now. This is how
I never was very good at this.
I guess kids your age back then used to entertain themselves. And Coach, doesn't look like you were all that good at it.
No, I wasn't very good at it, and I guess this generation doesn't even know what it is.
All right. Well, we got to teach them, I guess, a little
That's
bit
it.
there. All right. We're coming up on a break here, but first we're going to kick things over to this week's segment of Little Men.
Today's Little Men segment concerns an area of the game with our defensive line pressuring the passer in an obvious passing situation. Maybe second and long, third and long, late in the half or game when we know the opponent is going to throw the ball. The best thing we can do is pressure the passer. What we will sometimes do is call a twist game up front. We will actually take some of our defensive linemen and not rush them in their traditional lanes, but exchange and twist and move them around. With us today is Coach Dwayne Hamilton, one of our defensive line coaches, and I'm going to let him take us through twist games to pressure the passer. Coach, show us what you do.
Yeah, Coach, the first one we'll go over is what we call an X stunt, and it's on an obvious passing situation like you stated. And what we'll do first is we'll have our defensive ends go inside first. And we're going to end up having a gap exchange with our defensive ends, our defensive tackles. Secondly, once he clears, that defensive tackle is now going to work outside, hoping to catch this tackle, chasing the end, and bring it outside. Now he is now the outside pass rusher. We can mirror on both sides, call him the X, coming inside with the defensive tackle. Hopefully that offensive tackle is going to chase, and then we're bringing it outside here.
So basically they're just exchanging roles, trying to cause confusion in the blocking, and hopefully somebody comes free and is able to pressure or sack the passer. Well, let's go to some game tape and watch that in action. Here's a look at it from behind. You can see our front four with their butts and backs to the camera. Take us through this, Coach Hamilton, as it unfolds.
Yes, sir. So the first thing we're going to have in our four down, our defensive ends are going to shoot inside, as the arrows show.
And then as that unfolds,
The defensive tackles now are going to let those clear and bring an outside pressure off the edge.
Get a big hit on the quarterback as the ball's thrown. We're able to defend that down the field. Good pressure. Well, that's one example of twisting our guys, and now let's talk about maybe involving a fifth player, maybe a linebacker in the twist, and basically the same idea but doing it a different way. So tell us about that one, Coach Hamilton.
Yeah, the next one we'll have what we call a fire tex, and we're going to bring our Mike linebacker through to be a pass rusher on this play. So first we're going to clear out with our defensive tackle. We're going to clear him through here. And just as you see, hopefully that guard will chase there. We're going to shoot up the field just a little bit with this defensive end outside. As that's happening, our Mike linebacker will be shooting through this A-gap inside. Once we do that, it's going to clear out a gap right here for this defensive end to come inside late, hoping to get some pressure on the passer up the middle.
So those first two guys then try to force the quarterback to step up into what he thinks is an open area, and then we loop that defensive end in there late, hopefully get a big hit on the quarterback. Let's take a look at that on tape. All right, let's watch the fire tex in action.
So here we're going to have our defensive tackle, which you'll see the arrow on the right. He's going to shoot up the field a little bit to the wide side, as our Mike linebacker is going to shoot into that A-gap where his arrow is shown. As that happens, you'll see the offensive line turn towards those defenders. Now, our defensive end on the far right of the screen sees that happening, and now he's going to come back inside late on that path as you see right there.
Big play right there, forced a bad pass. Back with our front four, taking the linebacker out of it now. Now we will try to take our tackles wide, do it kind of backwards, take our tackles wide and then bring the ends underneath. So let's take a look at what we call a Texas stunt. Coach, take us through that.
So as you said, this is Texas, and this tackle right here, now he's going to go outside right now. So like you said, we're going to bring him outside, really off this offensive tackle's butt. And he's going to end up outside, hoping this guard will chase him just a little bit to give time for this defensive end to get that inside pressure that we really like when that quarterback's stepping up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll see this one step outside, widen it out, defensive end, step back inside.
Okay, kind of trying to force the quarterback into what he thinks is an alley up the middle. Then we got some people waiting on him. Texas stunt. Let's go to some game tape and look at that. From spring training, here's an end zone shot of the Texas stunt that we just described.
So here on the Texas stunt, we'll have something going on both sides of the ball. Our defensive tackles are going to shoot through the B gap to get a wide edge pressure. As that happens, our defensive ends now bring it inside, getting that pressure right in the middle of the pocket.
Coach Hamilton, thanks for being on and taking us through those twist games. That can be very effective if it's done right. Thanks for being here. And now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, the Rangers host Wagner this Friday, their first game in 2 weeks following the team's bye last week. Over the past decade, what's Smithson Valley's record in games following the bye? Is the answer A, 9-1, B, 8-2, or C, 7-3? The answer is B, 8-2. In fact, the Rangers had a 6-game winning streak in games following their bye week up until last season when Smithson Valley lost a shootout against Clemens 57-56 in Shirts. So again, looking back at that trivia, yes, over the past 10 years, the Rangers have won 8 of their 10 games. Coach, you look back at the bye week over the past 10 years, and an impressive record for you, but you have to keep in mind that this time around, both teams are coming off of an off week, where in years past, maybe the team you're playing had played the week before, so nobody has a distinct advantage going into the game this Friday.
Right, and that's a little different, as you mentioned. Normally we're in an odd number team league, and somebody, like you said, they're in the flow, you're not, and you're worried about it. But whoever loses won't have anything to blame. Everybody had the same cards going into this thing. Again, the opponent coming up Friday is Wagner. We're going to take a break here in Inside Rangers Football. Up next, we'll talk more about the Thunderbirds, and we have this week's district picks with Dr. Ferris and Dr. Hembry.
This November, vote for a man who knows how to be an American in America for Americans. Vote for Coach Hill for President of the United States. He's not afraid of anything.
And then, the ninjas come out of the forest.
Ninjas?
Who wouldn't vote for a president who had ninjas in their video.
But I don't want to be the president.
But you're from Texas, Coach, and that makes you a shoo-in. I'll make sure to put that in the video.
But it doesn't matter, because I don't want...
I know! We should get John Wayne to be in your video.
John Wayne?
I can hear it now. The new president of the United States of America is...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just have to say that if I was president, I couldn't coach football anymore.
Well then, I'm officially resigning as your campaign manager and vice president.
Okay then.
Coach, how tall do you think you have to be to run for president?
This political ad was paid for by Wick Productions. Watching a video is just better than reading stuff.
Welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley playing Wagner this upcoming Friday. It's homecoming week for the Rangers as they host the Thunderbirds. Wagner comes in. The Thunderbirds are 3-2. They started the season off red hot, starting 3-0, but since 27-6A play has started, they've stumbled a bit, losing to both Canyon and to Clemens. Coach, first impression of this Wagner team, what stands out?
Well, they're talented and they're a little bit out of the mainstream in the sense of their style of offense and defense. Kind of college football fans are very familiar with the Navy attack, the power option game, Air Force, some of those that use that style. And, you know, that's not something you see all the time, if ever. And so talented individuals doing it, and you haven't defended it much. And they're very good at it. They've had a ton of explosive plays and been able to put up a lot of points in most of their games. And, you know, and again, it's not what we've been defending for the last month or two. So that's a bit troublesome. And then defensively, very multiple in their alignments, very blitz-oriented, more so than anyone else we've played. Bring them from all angles, try to outnumber you at the point of attack. So, you know, being able to get those things handled with your blocking patterns, both in the run and the passing game, you know, that's tough because that's not what you've blocked really for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Looking more closely at the offense of Wagner, you know, you mentioned how explosive they've been. They had a 68-point game earlier this season against Marshall. The quarterback, Arthur Anderson, has put up some really good numbers this season. And as you've talked about, they get multiple players involved in the running game. I have to imagine defensively you have to be very disciplined when facing an offense like this.
No doubt. If you're familiar with the old Wishbone, Veer era guys my age or perhaps my age, it makes you play responsibility football. Who has got the dive back? If they fake to the dive back, who's got the quarterback? And if the quarterback elects then to pitch to the trailing pitch man, who's got the pitch? And you can't be taking each other's responsibility. If you put 2 on this one, none on that one, he scores. Or 1 here, 2 there, and he pitches it, he scores. So you've got to be highly disciplined, and you can't do it most of the time. You got to do it every time, because if you slip up 3 times and play good defense all but 3 plays, that could still be 21 points.
You look at Wagner's defense, they've only given up more than 30 points one time this season. You dig deeper into the stats. They have several tackles in the backfield against opponents this season. Very aggressive defense. You talked about how they were blitz-oriented. What does your offense have to do to combat what they want to do on defense?
Well, we can't turn someone loose. I think we counted the other day, it's 48 plays that they've tackled the opponents for loss. That's a staggering number. You know, that's about, well, I'm not very good at math, but that's 10, 12 a game, you know. So we've got to make sure that no one is free. And that's easier said than done because they line up a lot of different ways and bring them from all different angles. So we have to be very disciplined in our approach up front and give our backs and quarterbacks a chance to make a run or to hold the ball and make a throw against a variety of looks. So they've got their hands full this week.
One of the games that fans always look forward to each and every year is your homecoming game. This is it for you this coming Friday. And then I know it's a big week involved, and certainly the game itself. A lot of fans are going to be eagerly anticipating the festivities. What makes a homecoming weekend game different than the others?
Well, for us, nothing. You know, we try, as you've said before on this show, you know, we try to make every week the same. You know, whether it's a big down-the-road playoff game or the first game of the year or a homecoming game. So from that sense, nothing. But there's a little excitement around campus. There's dress-up days every day. There's a pep rally, you know, just some of the buzz that homecoming week creates. And, of course, it's always neat to see former students, and many of our former players will come around before and after the game. So, there's just maybe just a little bit different feel to it, and our players certainly feel that.
What keys do you feel like are going to factor into the game on Friday?
Well, I think negative yardage plays versus explosives. We've kind of hit on that. Can we limit their explosive plays? Can we limit their defense's amount of negative yardage plays against our offense? And then can we make difference-making plays in the kicking game, which we were discussing kicking game earlier. Can we block a kick? Can we return a kick? Can we pin them deep when we kick off or punt? That's kind of boring. That's not necessarily what a lot of people talk about, but it's got a chance to be a huge factor in this game.
Well, not only is Smithson Valley and Wagner returning to district play this week, so are the 6 other 27-6A teams. For a look at those 3 games in this week's district picks, here are Dr. Ferris and Dr. Hembry.
Thanks, guys. I'm Tyler Ferris.
And I'm Megan Hembry.
And we're Ferris Orthodontics, here with your Week 7 Picks of the Week.
Line them up.
My Week 7 Pick of the Week, Clemens Buffaloes, Canyon Cougars. No doubt about it, Buffs run all over the Cougars. This is medium close, and it gets ugly.
My Week 7 pick is between the Judson Rockets and the East Central Hornets. I'm afraid on this one, those Rockets are just going to blast those Hornets right out of the air. So I'm taking Judson.
Okay, your Week 7 Game of the Week, Smithson Valley Rangers, Wagner Thunderbirds. There won't be much thunder left in those birds when it's all said and done. It's going to get ugly. Coach Hill and Rangers all over the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, I agree. I think we go with the Rangers on this one. Go Rangers. Back to y'all.
Well, as always, Dr. Ferris, Dr. Hembry finishing things out there in the weekly picks with a pick of the Rangers to beat the Thunderbirds on Friday.
Yeah, they do that every week. They're right in line with my mama. She picks us every week too, so I hope they're all right this week.
Well, you can't go wrong when agreeing with Mrs. Hill.
I agree.
All right, well, with that, we're going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks to Coach Hill. I'm Brant Freeman again, Smithson Valley playing Wagner, 7:30 this Friday at Ranger Stadium. And again, for updates on that game and everything Smithson Valley, be sure to text the word Rangers to the number 42828. And you can follow the game live with the radio broadcast on rangersnetwork.com. And we'll have the replay for you Sunday, 6 p.m. at Max's Roadhouse as well. And again, go to rangersnetwork.com for updates on all that. So, Coach, we'll see you Friday at the game.
All right, thank you, Brant.
All right, and we'll see you next week.